Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Gonzii and today we are going to be reacting to another Casual Geographic video. Like I said to you guys yesterday, we got to play it safe until July at least because of the two strikes that we have on the channel. One of them completely my fault. I should not have reacted to that video. It was the Outdoor Boys one. And the other one was a Casual Geographic video that it wasn't our brother that gave us the strike. It was some other idiots that striked us. He striked everybody and just held everybody's channels for ransom, basically trying to scam people. And so yeah, man, it is what it is. I can all risk it. Without further ado, why koalas are the dumbest animals to ever breathe, man. So yeah, let's go.
Someone on Instagram asked me what's the dumbest animal on the planet.
So sorry,
really?
though.
You
I
really want me to slander them again? I'm so sorry, but there's really only one answer here. It's koalas, by far.
I'm
koalas
dry, bro.
Eat one thing, and it's eucalyptus. But if you stripped a tree and put all the leaves on a plate in front of it, it would stare at the plate and starve to death because they can't recognize it as food. Because
that's so wild, bro. They don't recognize
koalas don't have the mental
the
capacity to comprehend rain, so they'll just sit there getting wet and not understanding why.
Damn.
They don't even bother trying to cover themselves. Koalas insist on eating nothing but a mildly toxic plant that basically gives them zero energy. Which is why this bush bear has to spend 18 to 22 hours sleeping because they literally nerf themselves with their diet. And honestly, they might as well just eat dirt. Which they do. Koalas eat dirt. The more wrinkles on the brain, the smarter you are, which is why koalas are baby ass smooth between the ears with one of the smallest brains of any mammal because nature just didn't even try.
Smooth brain.
A koala's brain is surrounded by fluid to protect it from harsh impact. They had to evolve to survive falling out of trees because they did it so often. Someone said they have a built-in special ed crash helmet. I wouldn't go that far, but I see where he's coming from. This is by far the weirdest type of bear you'll ever see. Meet the sun bear. It's the smallest bear in the world, and at about 150 pounds, you probably weigh more than he does. Also, this is what their feet look like, and if I have to see this image every time I try to sleep at night, so do you. The sun bear also has a 10-inch tongue that'll fully extend whenever eating insects or honey, and I cannot even begin to explain how this picture makes me feel. It's basically a giant squirrel because they spend more time in the trees than any other bear.
Squirrel
and
is
even though
right,
they
you
look
know.
like somebody in a
Look
party
at that, it's so
they're very much
weird.
the Himalayan sun bear is the most endangered bear on the planet next to pandas. They look like nature tried to redraw bears strictly from memory.
Yeah.
Out of all the bears, these guys love honey the most, to the point where if you Google honey bear, the sun bear will pop up. They look like somebody told them to act natural, and this is the best they can do. Mother sun bears will birth 1 or 2 cubs that are born both blind and deaf, which is why the normally shy animal will reenact the Revenant if you get near them. The cubs will stay with their mothers until they're about 3. And can we please acknowledge how ridiculous these bears look? I mean, these pictures aren't edited. Because they're so shy, we don't know a whole lot about them, but we do know that their numbers are dropping due to habitat loss. And believe me, this is a face worth saving.
Oh my god!
I actually already made a video about this, but since y'all kept tagging me since I like hearing the sound of my own voice, here's some facts. This new DLC is a golden snub-nosed monkey found in central and southeast China. That Voldemort nose job is because they live in such a cold climate where a normal nose would get exposed to freezing temperatures. The golden no-nose can travel in groups of up to 600 made of several complex units. When a predator like a goshawk attacks, they'll put the babies in the center of the group while the biggest, most aggressive males go confront it. The families are so close that sometimes they'll fight over who gets to hold the baby.
Damn.
Females go out of their way to cheat on their partners, but it's actually for a good reason. The more males she hooks up with, the more males will think the baby she ends up birthing belongs to them, which makes them less likely to try to abort it. So yeah, she gets ran through like a track meet, but she does it for the children. They're endangered with about 10,000 of these monkeys scattered across China. Babies are born light brown, but they eventually turn orange after a year. Their fur changes color based on the season to match the leaves from dark brown in the summer to bright in the fall. Because they live in high altitudes in the cold, they'll hug for both warmth and to reinforce social bonds. Like a ventriloquist, they can make loud sounds without moving their mouth. Meet the Jesus lizard, and no, I'm not being sacrilegious, that's its actual nickname. This South American lizard called a basilisk can do the dash over water to avoid predators, or I guess confuse a now God-fearing snake. A motivated basilisk can run on water for about 60 feet before they sink, and a younger lizard can last longer than the adults. This Christ lizard has tiny fringes on the bottom of its feet, and when it opens up the fringes, it increases their surface area. By pumping their feet like a bicycle, the basilisk slaps their feet hard against the surface of the water, which creates air pockets that keeps them suspended as long as they're fast enough. And if a 175-pound person also wanted to pull a Jesus and walk on water, they'd have to run at a pace of 65 miles per hour while also wearing surface area increasing shoes. The basilisk can only maintain this biblical act for a few seconds, but luckily it's long enough to escape a predator and more than long enough to make a snake question everything he thought he believed in. He's gonna tell his friends and they are not gonna believe him.
I can see right through you.
You can!
I'm not even gonna pretend I was emotionally prepared for that because I wasn't. At all. But I can explain. I already know that birds have hollow bones, but it's not to make them lighter or to make flying easier. The process of flying requires so much oxygen that the lungs actually extend into the bones because obviously bigger lungs means more oxygen means more energy. The bird's body compensates for having large lungs by having a skeleton take up less space than you would think. Exhibit A is what a toucan skeleton looks like compared to what Fruit Loops commercials want you to think they look like. But you wouldn't know that looking at it because it's covered by lightweight feathers, and honestly most birds are hiding some kind of nonsense with their feathers. For example, penguins have way more neck than you ever believed. Press an owl and it's the same story, different night.
Yeah.
Flamingos are interesting because those aren't its knees it's bending, those are actually its ankles.
Damn.
The knees are actually further up to the point where its feathers cover them. Almost forgot about chickens. The lesson here is that birds are just dinosaurs that nature rebranded with feathers. Toucans technically aren't see-through, it's just that their feathers take up more of their body than you realize. Does not make this any less weird.
No.
So people wanted me to explain this, so here you go. That is a bombardier beetle, and that liquid ass
A
sawdust actually a
bombardier
toxic chemical
beetle.
spray they use to defend themselves.
Yeah.
Kind of like built-in pepper spray, but times 100. The chemical is created by mixing hydroquinone.
Why
and
does
hydrogen
bro have a
peroxide
machine
inside
gun
the
on
beetle.
his
You don't need a
butt,
chemistry
dude?
degree to know that that'll put almost any op on a milk carton. This reaction is as hot as boiling water, which is what causes the beetle to release its butt acid like an Arby's junkie. And even though that spray can RIP insects, the most it'll do is mildly hurt you. But the spray tastes so bad that sometimes frogs will eat the beetles and then vomit them out. And keep in mind, frogs have to pull their stomachs out their mouths to do this, so you know it's something serious. Because nothing will mess up your appetite more than the beetle's anal dragon breath to the tongue. Speaking of dragon game, link bio, shameless
Get
done,
the
over.
bag, my boy. You deserve the bag, man. Love it every single time.
Swear Australia isn't as dangerous as
Bro.
people think. Like, your life isn't in constant danger just because you live there. Just that Australia has some of the most ridiculous things that you will never see anywhere else.
Man.
But one, that's not
Where
a
is it
Komodo dragon, it's too small. And two, this wasn't in Australia.
What is
Video
that
was
then?
in Thailand, and that was an Asian water monitor lizard, aka
Oh.
Miss Goddamn Kipling.
Miss
Water monitors are
Kipling.
normally shy. When it comes to people, they would rather
Wow.
run than run fades. When pressed, Ravi's
Shout out
body
to
count has a
everybody that
nasty
knows
bite for
Jessie,
dangerous
man,
bacteria,
on
and they're more likely
Disney.
to attack children and small
Shout out.
dogs. And at nearly 7 feet long and about 160 pounds, they're the largest lizards on the planet that aren't called Komodos. Like Komodos, they're scavengers, and they've been known to make a meal out of human corpses.
Dang.
Since one bite from a pissed-off monitor can cut veins and sever tendons, its bite is actually worse than a rattlesnake's. Oh, and fun fact,
Makes
most are
sense.
venomous, and some can sprint at a speed of 25 miles per hour, which is only
Damn.
slightly slower than, what was his name? Oh yeah, Usain Bolt. They also have
Wow.
claws and a tail that they can use as a whip, which is why for a brief moment in time, 7-Eleven was the most inconvenient store on the planet. Platypus
Thanks.
is definitely one of the weirdest things to ever leave the draft. But what if I
Very
told you there was
dude.
an animal that was so out of place it legitimately confused scientists? There's an animal with bat ears, a foxtail, a monkey's body with witch hands, and the face of a drug-addicted squirrel. Meet the platypus of Madagascar,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Eye. This casserole
The
of an animal
Eye,
is such a
dude.
freak that the first people to see
He's
it
a
classified it as a
freak,
rodent
dude.
because they literally
He
thought
looks
it was
like a
squirrel.
freak
But the
as
weirdest
well.
thing about them is they're
Damn.
actually related to you and me because they're primates.
Wow.
And you've probably seen one without realizing it. Yep, your boy Maurice was an eye. But its acid trip of a body makes a lot of sense when it's
Maurice,
hunting.
dude.
They eat
I
insects,
thought
and
he
they
was
hunt by
just a
drumming on pieces
lemur,
of wood and
bro.
using
No,
those
he
bad
was
ears
an
to find the
eye.
hollow parts where the
Alright.
bugs are. They use those Timmy Turners to chew through the wood. Then it scoops the bugs out with that long bony middle finger. Fun fact, according to native legend, if this rehab squirrel flips you off with that middle finger, it means you are condemned to a painful death.
Ooh.
Of course, eyes aren't evil, they're actually painfully shy introverts that sleep all day and eat at night. So look at that, you might have something in common with this LSD monkey. It's also unbearably
Yeah,
adorable
sure.
while looking like a gremlin, and no other animal confuses me on such an emotional level. Have you ever wondered what animals do to relax or have fun? Well, you don't need to, because you follow me.
Let's go.
Crocodiles have been known to take turns giving each other piggyback rides, and since there's no practical reason for this, we have to assume they're doing it just for the fun of it.
Oh,
And
that's
normally
cute.
it's male crocodiles piggybacking a smaller female.
As they should.
Crocodiles will also pick flowers and carry them around, and apparently they really like the color pink. Otters go
Cute.
sledding. River otters in Yellowstone will find
They
a steep
do, I've
icy
seen
hill, get a
videos,
running
man.
start, and slide all the way down for no purpose other than having a good time. Otters basically treat this winter
Look at
wonderland
that.
like an iced out water park,
Man,
and like
just
any
having
respectable
fun,
water
bro.
park,
Animals
all
have
the
fun
slides
as
seem to
well.
lead to water.
That's how I know they are
Hippos chill
sick.
by wallowing into shallow water, and then the fish feed on their parasites, loose skin, and fungal
Yeah.
growths.
Basically a
this
spa.
giant hippo takes a
Yeah.
spa day and even opens its mouth so the fish can clean its teeth. These sessions are so relaxing that sometimes the hippos will fall asleep in the middle of it, and honestly, I don't blame him.
No.
Even hippos believe in self-care. If
Get
hippos
you-
had thumbs, they would definitely
get
download
you
the
the
self-care app
self-care,
because it helps you
mate.
keep your mental health in order by creating small but positive habits to add to your daily routine. Or you could just book a spa appointment with a hippo, but I can't
Get your
promise you that'll
bag,
be good for your
bro.
animals that
Double
are way
promo.
smarter than you
Let's
think, to
go.
the point where it might actually be a problem. One day crows are going to turn on us and it's going to be
Facts.
bad.
It's
Crows
gonna
have
be
the
bad,
intelligence
man.
of a 7-year-old, meaning this bird is smart enough to solve problems, make tools, and occasionally mess with people. Crows will purposely drop walnuts on crosswalks for a car to run
They
over and then wait for the
do.
light to turn red to retrieve the smashed nut.
Bro.
They'll also take aim and poop on you if they feel territorial, if they
Also
want your food, or if
facts.
they just feel like being a dick. Not only can crows remember your face for 5 years, but they can communicate their beef to other crows, meaning you could really get a whole flock on your head.
Damn.
You can teach their future children about you, so a crow could really violate you for something you did to his granddaddy. I
Facts.
was gonna talk about other animals, but this just became a crow video. Crows are one of the few animals that are smart enough to have self-control because in an experiment, crows were willing to deny a piece of food if it meant they got a bigger reward for it.
Damn.
Basically, scientists would put a treat in front of the crow, and the crow wouldn't eat it if it knew that it would get a better treat if it controlled itself, and that's something human children struggle with. If a crow dies, the other crows will investigate the area where it happened to see if there's a danger they need to avoid. Moral of this video, crows are scary smart. The day they choose violence, we're all gonna get hitchcocked with no loot. More dangerous, a rhinoceros or a hippo. Rhinos are the second largest land mammal on the planet at 5,000 pounds.
Rhinos are legally blind, so maybe them.
They also have really thick skin and can charge at 34 miles per hour. Fast enough to go bowling with hyenas, and mean enough to humble.
Look at that.
Hippos are the third largest with teeth that can grow up to 1.5 feet. And before you try to body shame them at 30 miles per hour, they're faster than Usain Bolt, and they're also able to solo squat entire prides of lions. Rhinos aren't super aggressive. The problem is they have terrible eyesight and they can't see anything that's farther than 100 feet from them. If they just barely make out movements, this bipolar unicorn will attack whether you're a lion, a person, or an SUV in the name of equality.
They will, bro.
Hippos
They don't care what it is.
Violence. They'll do it anyway. Hippo temper tantrums cause 500 obituaries a year, and they've also been known to murder other animals for no reason at all. And hippos can do something that rhinos can't, and that's run your fate on land or in water. In fact, they're actually at their most homicidal when they catch you in their watering hole. Rhinos are bigger and tankier, but at least when they turn up, they do it in self-defense.
That's
Hippos
facts.
catch bodies because that's just who they are.
Hippos are just
These
on
are normal
side,
things
bro.
you do that would be completely different if you were an animal. Coughing in front of a kangaroo might just save your life because coughing is how weaker beta males emit inferiority to alpha males, and it's how kangaroos avoid unnecessary fights. So if a roid roo ever presses you, coughing like an anti-masker might just keep you on the senses. Smiling with teeth might seem innocent to us, but it's basically
no,
like chimpanzees and gorillas who see it as an
never
act of
show your
intimidation
teeth
or
to a
threat.
monkey,
One
bro.
woman
Never.
had a habit of smiling at the gorillas at the Berlin Zoo, even though zookeepers specifically told her not to. She
Never
insisted she had a
smile.
special bond with the gorillas because they always smiled back. Yeah.
That's
One day,
not good.
400-pound Bakito got tired of her nonsense, jumped out of his enclosure, and proceeded to beat 50 Shades of Black and Blue onto the woman. The gorilla then broke into a restaurant while the mauled woman laid there and realized that not even gorillas mess with Karens. If you're a human, yawning might mean that you're ready to go to sleep. If a hippo yawns, it's ready to put you to sleep indefinitely, since this is a territorial gesture to warn you not to come any closer if you value breathing. And with a 2,000-pound bite force, its overbite can divide a crocodile and violate a lion's mouthpiece. What you need to remember is a yawning hippo isn't tired, but tired of your shit. There are normal things you do that would mean something very different if you were an animal.
Let's go.
We laugh when something's funny, and it's typically associated with positive emotions. But a hyena laughing is associated with violence and homicide.
It is.
Hyenas produce the giggling sound in response to conflict, stress, and fear. And the best example of this is when they're confronting a lion. They also laugh while fighting over food, so if you ever hear that giggle, don't worry about what shoes to wear in your casket, it's gonna be closed.
It's so funny,
People roll
bro.
their eyes in annoyance,
Oh my
frustration,
God.
and during a third thing that guidelines won't let me talk about, but it's normally harmless. But if a great white rolls its eyes at you, it's going to be the last thing you ever see.
It's
Most
just to
sharks have a
protect them,
protective
right?
eyelid that shields the eye when attacking prey, but since great whites don't have this membrane, they just roll their eyes back into their sockets before they catch a mean body. So if a shark ever looks like it needs the exorcist, it means the lease on your body is up and your soul's about to get evicted.
Thanks.
Hugs are good, you can't live without them. This isn't a hug, it's an invitation to see
It
your
is
ancestors.
not an hug,
Anteaters
bro.
do this to scare off predators, but if it doesn't work, they start
Anteater
swinging with
there
claws and
on
sharp
smoke,
tips and cut
bro.
arteries and make you bleed
On
to death. Don't
smoke.
hug an anteater or you'll be hugging the heaven gates.
So there you have it, guys. That was some of the coolest Animal Kingdom facts, man, and why koalas are dumb as rocks, bro. Even rocks might be smarter than a koala bear. Bro, if you take the leaves out of the eucalyptus tree, put it on plate, bro, and put koala there to eat leaf, bro, they don't know what that is. Like, what is this nonsense, big man? Thank you so much for watching the video, man. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Sorry again that we have to do this because of the strike, but got to play it safe. So yeah, guys, once again, love each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting the channel. But before you go, don't forget to hang videos on the channel, man. Come on, man. Keep God first as always. Drink water, go tell somebody who loves them, and if you're here, you know what to do, man. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. My name is Gonzii, and subscribe tomorrow. Goodbye.